Chapter 22. Greenwood Fist. The voice drifted mysteriously, and Wu Kai's expression immediately became devout. He stood upright in his place and respectfully bowed in the air, saying, "Yes, Grand Elder." Wu Kai's behavior startled Wu Yong, who quickly reacted and also adopted a respectful demeanor. "Ah, yes, Grand Elder." Wu Yong trembled with fear and unease. He never expected that Wu Qingfeng, the extraordinary innate powerhouse of the Wu family, would personally speak up to defend Wu Hui. Phew! A cold snort resounded in the air, causing both of them to flush red. Afterwards, they felt the oppressive aura dissipate, and their bodies relaxed. Wu Kai's face turned serious as he coldly spoke to Wu Yong. "Wu Yong, I almost suffered because of you this time. After all, Wu Hui is the Grand Elder's direct grandson, and it seems that his cultivation has also broken through to the profound rank." "What? How is that possible?" "That Wu Hui hasn't made any breakthroughs in the past 7 years." Wu Yong's face showed shock and disbelief as he looked at his cousin, unable to comprehend why he would say such things. "I believe Wu Hui has already reached the profound rank. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare enter the martial skill pavilion without reaching that level, even if he is the Grand Elder's favored grandson." And at this point, a look of puzzlement appeared on Wu Kai's face as he recalled a scene in the treasure pavilion. And what? Despite not wanting to admit it, Wu Yong had to face the facts. Wu Hui hadn't been expelled from the martial skill pavilion by the second elder, and the fact that the Grand Elder personally spoke up to defend him was extraordinary. And it seems that Wu Zijuan is somewhat wary of Wu Hui. As Wu Kai spoke these words, there was a trace of shock in his tone. "What? That's impossible." Unable to contain his astonishment, Wu Yong exclaimed, his face filled with disbelief. Wu Zijuan was one of the most outstanding among the younger generation of the Wu family. He had already reached the 5-star profound rank, while Wu Hui, even if he had just made a breakthrough, would only be at the 1-star profound rank. There was simply no comparison between them. If Wu Zijuan had a good chance of reaching the innate rank, then Wu Hui had no hope at all. "In any case, from now on, you should stay away from Wu Hui." That's what Wu Zijuan said. As Wu Kai said this, he no longer entered the martial skill pavilion and turned to leave. Wu Yong stood at the entrance of the martial skill pavilion, at a loss for what to do, contemplating how to face Wu Hui in the future. Meanwhile, Wu Hui, unaffected by the second elder's expulsion, was currently browsing through the martial skills on a row of bookshelves. Martial skills were divided into 4 levels: Heaven, Earth, Profound, and Yellow. Each level was further divided into 4 grades: Low, Mid, High, and Peak. They could also be categorized based on their attributes: Metal, Wood, Water, Fire, and Earth. At the moment, Wu Hui was looking at martial skills with the Wood attribute. Wu Hui's main attribute was Wood. Wood nourishes fire, which is required for breaking through to the profound rank. His fire martial qi was still quite weak, while his wood martial qi was incredibly solid. Naturally, he should focus on cultivating wood martial skills until his fire martial qi strengthened enough to practice fire martial skills. Greenwood Fist qi originates from the Dantian, passes through the Mimen and Yangguan acupoints, condenses into a qi cluster, then passes through the Jianjing, Kuki, Weiguan acupoints, and converges in the palm, forming qi force to strike the opponent. Wu Hui held a martial technique called Greenwood Fist and skimmed through its general introduction. This was a low-level yellow-gray technique, the lowest level available, but it was the most suitable for Wu Hui at the moment. "Elder Second, I would like to make a copy of this Greenwood Fist," Wu Hui said, holding the martial technique in his hand as he approached Elder Wu Qingling. In the martial technique pavilion, one could not take away the original scroll of a technique. They had to make a copy and take the duplicate for practice. "Oh, you've chosen Greenwood Fist. It is the lowest level technique in the martial technique pavilion. Why didn't you choose a mid-level yellow-gray technique?" "They are much stronger than Greenwood Fist," Elder Wu Qingling said, looking at Wu Hui with a smile on his face. I have just broken through to the profound stage, and my qi is unstable. If I choose higher-level techniques, it will undoubtedly take more time and effort, with uncertain results. It's better to start with some basic techniques, Wu Hui respectfully replied to Elder Wu Qinling. In the Wu family, Elder Wu Qinling never participated in internal family conflicts and wholeheartedly managed the martial technique pavilion, earning the respect of all Wu family disciples. Good, well done. It's not rushing for quick gains. In fact, basic techniques may not be lacking in power. Each technique has several forms. Greenwood Fist has 3 forms. The first form generates a green glow in the palm with internal force flashing. The second form adds spirituality to the green, doubling its power. The third form manifests the spirituality, transforming it into a solid entity, with even greater power, Elder Wu Qinling said, looking at Wu Hui with a somewhat satisfied gaze. Having guarded the martial technique pavilion for many years, his vision was unique. Many disciples who had just broken through to the profound stage would come here to choose techniques, and most of them were eager to select higher-level techniques with greater power. However, higher-level techniques were generally difficult to master. In the Wu family, the martial technique pavilion had accumulated collections for hundreds of years, and the highest-level techniques had reached the mid-level of the profound stage, while the martial techniques had reached the low level of the profound stage. Of course, there were certain restrictions on practicing martial techniques. Disciples with cultivation below the earth stage could practice yellow-grade martial techniques, while those at or above the earth stage could practice profound-grade martial techniques. Wu Hui already knew about the different forms of the technique that Elder Wu Qinling mentioned. Although Greenwood Fist was only a low-level yellow-grade technique, its second form could already rival mid-level yellow-grade techniques, while the third form possessed the power of high-level yellow-grade techniques. Please help me make a copy of Greenwood Fist, Wu Hui requested. Sure. While Wu Hui was speaking with Elder Wu Qinling, Wu Zijuan walked over. Wu Zijuan looked at Wu Hui with eyes that no longer held the same arrogance as before. Although he still looked down on Wu Hui, his expression had improved significantly. Wu Hui, I advise you to directly choose a yellow-rank intermediate martial arts technique. If your strength is too weak, it will not match your current status. Wu Zijuan held a martial arts technique in his hand and placed it in front of the second elder. It was a yellow-rank high-level martial arts technique Golden Sun Finger. Wu Hui remembered that when Wu Zijuan fought with Su Qingshuai in the Wu family hall, he used the yellow-rank intermediate martial arts technique Golden Sword Palm, but it was only the first layer of Golden Sword Palm. But now he wants to practice Golden Sun Finger. Wu Hui smiled and said, if my Qingmu Fist is practiced to the third level, it will not be weaker than your Golden Sun Finger. Haha, you still want to practice to the third level. Wu Zijuan heard Wu Hui's words and suddenly laughed loudly. Don't you know the difficulty of improving each level of martial arts? Also, you have just reached the mysterious rank. It is difficult to master low-level yellow rank and above martial arts techniques. You can only practice some low-level martial arts techniques. Wu Hui's expression on his face did not change at all. Although the improvement of martial arts is difficult, it varies from person to person. His father Wu Haya has practiced Qingmu Fist to the third level. The power is comparable to that of high-level yellow-rank martial arts techniques, but the consumed martial energy is much less. Wu Hui's current martial energy in his body is roughly equivalent to Xuanjia 4 stars. Practicing high-level martial arts requires a lot of practice and consumes a lot. With his current situation, it is not worth the loss. He now focuses on alchemy. As long as he can refine the elixir that improves his cultivation, his strength will have a qualitative leap. I feel that Qingmu Fist is easier to practice. Wu Hui said lightly, picked up the martial arts scroll that had been imprinted by the second elder, turned around and left. Looking at Wu Hui's disappearing back, Wu Zijuan's face became a little gloomy. Isn't it just stimulating the fire attribute? It's really lucky to walk on dog shit. Such waste can also turn over. God is really blind. Wu Zizhuan naturally only complained in his heart, but he did not dare to speak out. After separating from Pu'er, Wu Hui returned to his room. Opened the scroll of Qingmu Fist. A green soft light flashed. Wu Hui closed his eyes slightly and gently attached his hand. The green light gradually faded. Wu Hui felt a piece of information appearing in his mind. It was the use method of Qingmu Fist. Qingmu Fist calls on the wood attribute martial energy in the body and gathers it on its own fist to strengthen its power. Although it is only a low-level yellow-rank martial arts technique, it is much stronger than ordinary punches. About half an hour passed, and the green light on the scroll had completely disappeared. Wu Hui suddenly opened his eyes and took a deep breath. He stretched out his palm and slightly bent his 5 fingers. A group of green appeared in his palm, then clenched his fists and green overflowed from his palm and wrapped around his fist. The palm of your hand turns green and your inner strength flashes. The first layer of Qingmu Fist is done. Wu Hui looked at his still green fist with some disbelief. He felt a surge of energy contained in his fist and had an urge to vomit. This is too simple. After memorizing the operation method of Qingmu Fist, Wu Hui's body's martial energy involuntarily followed the operation method. But I didn't expect that internal strength would be produced for the first time. This means that the first layer of Qingmu Fist has been practiced. No wonder, Wangjie and Xuanjie are a huge watershed. Not to mention the gap in martial energy. Just talking about this martial arts technique. Using martial arts techniques is much more powerful than without martial arts techniques. Just like one person holding a big sword, and another person is empty-handed. If their cultivation base is similar, then the person holding the sword obviously has an advantage. Wu Hui secretly said in his heart that this is still only a low-level yellow-rank martial arts technique. If he reaches Xuanjie, Earth rank, or even Sky rank martial arts technique, how powerful would it be? Of course, the higher the level of martial arts practice, the more difficult it becomes. Of course, the higher the level of martial arts practice, the more difficult it becomes. Like Wu Hui, who practiced a layer of Qingmu Fist in one practice, it would never happen on high-level martial arts techniques. Wu Hui was secretly fortunate in his heart. When he had not broken through that day, he met Wu Qiong. If Wu Qiong at that time practiced martial arts techniques, he might not be able to take advantage of it. Understanding the importance of martial arts techniques, Wu Hui chose to continue practicing Qingmu Fist. This chapter comes to an end. If you enjoy the works of Chengfeng Book House, please follow, like, and bookmark. Your support is my motivation.